Hey, what's up everybody? It's David here from Welker Properties, and in this episode, we're going to be talking to Buildertrend, and specifically Buildertrend software. Now, Buildertrend construction software is a suite that we use here at Welker Properties to keep ourselves organized and ready for basically any type of project that we're gonna do. The main point of the discussion I'm gonna have today with Buildertrend is to hopefully get some information from their team, so it's not just coming from us, to help illustrate why this software is such a good idea for you to consider. If you're in real estate investing, you're a developer yourself, you're a contractor, maybe you're just getting started doing bigger projects than you ever have before, and you're struggling with how to keep yourself organized, this software is a fantastic solution in order to do that. So I hope you enjoy this discussion. We're gonna jump right into it. This is a Zoom recording because obviously, as you know, these times, it's a little bit hard to get together in person. So we went ahead and did a Zoom conference and we talked to Eric, who is the VP of Customer Success over at Buildertrend. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Go ahead and check it out. Hey everybody, I've got Eric here from Buildertrend, and we wanted to do a video for you guys and show you a little bit about the software. And if you're not aware of what Buildertrend can do, I'm gonna let Eric give you guys a little bit of a quick overview. As always, I'm David with Welker Properties, VP of Construction here in Dallas, Texas. I'll let Eric take it away a little bit here and tell you about the software.
Awesome. David, appreciate you having me here. Eric Fisher, Vice President of Customer Success at Buildertrend. So for those of you that maybe don't know, Buildertrend is a project management, really business management tool. It's a cloud-based software that allows contractors to log in, view all of their jobs, but it also encompasses subcontractors, homeowners being able to log in, and really does everything from the sales to the warranty process, depending on what a company needs. One of the strengths of Buildertrend is always our customer success side of things, really being able to help customers develop their processes and implement the software into their business. So a quick overview of what Buildertrend is there for everyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it really is a all-encompassing suite. I mean, and for a little bit of a background for everybody, I have about 6 years total of experience with the software going into we're kind of implementing the software here at Welker Properties still, and it is a huge advantage for a lot of different reasons. And it really does cover all aspects of everything you need. And not just as a contractor, but as a developer or investor, which we're hopefully going to be able to show you guys today. And Eric, have you seen like more of an uptick of people that are like us maybe trying to get involved, or is that still something that's kind of new for you guys, like non-direct contractor types, like trying to use the software like we are?
Yeah, no, you see it all the time. I don't know that we've necessarily seen an uptick. I think it's been fairly consistent. I think as far as, the willingness to adapt and do some things with technology that maybe, companies had been adverse to previously, we're seeing that definitely. Just the kind of climate and circumstances around the world have helped with that. The electronical and the digital solution has definitely helped our CS side of things have more time to get customers the value and help them understand how the software can help them out.
Right. And then, I mean, no better time than now, I guess, with people more working from home or trying to figure out solutions. And I think that's what kind of drove us to just going all in on a software suite like Buildertrend to kind of just keep ourselves organized. And
Yep.
in that same vein, I wanted to kind of talk about so in that same vein, there's a couple features that I feel like really set this software apart, and they're things that I think every investor or type like us would need to use. If you're a developer, you're just getting started, maybe you're super experienced, but you've had trouble keeping your projects organized, or using Excel and Word and all this other stuff. A few of my favorite features are, number one, they have a amazing scheduling and to-do function. And there are two separate functions in the software, which I'll let Eric kind of respond a little bit here. But the schedule to me is something that even as the developer, your general contractor that you hire, or the contractors that you hire, maybe you hire a bunch of different people or vendors, they're going to give you their durations and how long they're going to take, hopefully. And you can keep track of that in a notebook if you wanted to. But what I've found using Buildertrend from this side of the table, not being a GC directly anymore, I've found it to where I can take that information from the contractors and vendors that we work with, and I can plug it into my schedule. And now I have a really quick and easy way to keep them accountable. And then you can kind of double down with that if they're activated in the system. So I think that's a huge advantage
to be able to track your project and not have to, you don't have to go pencil and paper with it. And then combine that with the to-dos. They basically give you a fully integrated to-do list that you can assign based on tasks in your schedule, like your calendar. You can assign it to the project. You can assign stuff to basically anywhere. You can assign it to different people in the system. So yeah, Eric, if you want to expand on anything as far as that goes that I may have missed.
Yeah, no, I think what you get at right there, there's so many layers to it. And I think that's the great thing about Buildertrend is, you talk about the schedule in itself. Not only does it allow you to have that documentation in one central spot for each of the jobs or projects that are running in flight, but it's the ability to hold people accountable to something then. Kind of what you hit at, David, is once that schedule is set, there's the ability to set the baseline on that schedule where you can then track any of your differences. You can have reasons input of why those changes are happening, which can be input by any users that you give that ability to. You now allow your subcontractors to see that, like you said, your contractors. On top of that, one thing that I love about all of it, and my CS team will get a kick out of this, is the tags feature that's available on both of those features. Super cool. So tags is basically being able to take your to-dos and, as you're going to have to-dos for a punch list. You may have to-dos that are more related to like walkthroughs, things of that form. You can itemize what type of to-dos and basically segment across a job or across all of your projects that are in flight and just view a certain type of to-dos. I want to see the status of all of our walkthroughs. Let's see the notes that are related to those. And it really helps you gain efficiency because you're not digging through to every piece, just looking at titles of to-dos. You can basically add those tags. You think of them as like subjects or topics that are relatable to a group or buckets of types of items. You can do the same thing with a schedule on a job, which I love is, taking a schedule and you can basically segment out the internal and external sides of a project. Be able to look at and just see, hey, let's see the critical path for the work that's dependent on each other on the inside of the home. Let's separate that out and let's set a critical path for the outside of the home. And those can connect to each other still too, but you basically have 2 schedules, 3 schedules in one with those tags being applied to those items. So super cool depth that you can get out of it. And then, like we said, the communication, documentation, and the accountability that comes with it.
Right. And it's so important. And I think you hit on it too. I didn't even mention the critical path option, which basically gives you a way to plot out, the most important stages of the project, which are going to affect other stages as you go down. And that's kind of the thing. I feel like it could seem overwhelming maybe to somebody that's just getting started in real estate development, or maybe you're flipping houses. But listen, you don't have to go into a macro. Even if you're just taking the information you're getting from your hired vendors and subs, and you're plotting that on your calendar in Buildertrend, you can easily keep track of things. And like I said, if the contractors are activated in the system, well, that's going to give you some advantages. You can get bids from them and stuff, which I'm about to talk about now, but you can also just keep track of yourself. And there's a mobile app. You can do everything from your phone. I mean, it's pretty incredible what you can do from a phone and tablet anyways nowadays, but specifically with Buildertrend, it's actually really impressive. The next two items that kind of really hit for me is budgeting and estimating. And again, this is kind of an advantage to put the power into the hands of the people that are doing the developments, because no, you may not have an estimator on your team, someone that you feel super confident can do construction estimating. You may still be procuring estimates from a contractor or a vendor. But the cool thing is you can store all that stuff in the project. You can keep it for templating in the future. You can easily go through and review it. I'll let Eric maybe expand on, they have a function called new expected, which I was telling him I really love, where you can track your current pricing versus what you got estimated. And being able to budget and being able to take the data from your estimate and view it in their budget tab, it gives you an instant overview of your project at any time. So whatever you have going on that project, you're going to be able to see exactly what's happening as long as you're inputting the data.
Yeah, and Dave, you hit it on the head. New expected is, again, accountability. We talk about being able to input those initial prices that we get back and then be able to see the differences as we get bids coming back in or there's fluctuations in pricing. And it's a head start to it all. If we need to come under in certain areas, we basically can already game plan around that and set up where are we going to have to find some cheaper labor, whether it's cheaper materials, maybe things of that form. So new expected is great. The other piece to it also is just the ability to essentially hold yourself accountable, improve your process over time, look
Yeah.
back at past jobs, use that information to educate yourself on pricing, costs moving forward on future projects also, and then hold contractors accountable, like you said, is the other piece to it that we really see a huge advantage of. And as data's king, we say this in our business, but really it's true to every business. The more data that you can input and track, the more that you can find insights to improve your business on. The more that that's on pen and paper or in somebody's head, the harder it is to figure that information out. I think that's one of the biggest things with technology for every company, but developers
Yeah.
especially is, and you hinted at this in our last section, figure out what you can get started with. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Complexity
Right.
is the enemy of success. The harder that you can make things go, the harder your team is going to have understanding how it benefits them. But figure out what you need to get started with, buy into it, and go all in and fix those issues first, get great at it, then bite off the next process. Don't try to fix 5 processes at once or implement 5 different
Right.
changes at once.
Right, especially if you're getting started. I mean, that's one thing too, where it's a great thought, because I think a lot of people will tend to say, "Well, I got to fix everything," or I've got to get started." Say you're getting started in real estate, you're getting started in developments or construction, and you're thinking, "Oh, well, I better have everything ready." And it's like, well, it's always going to be evolving. Like even with Buildertrend now, I've been using it for, like I said, over 6 years, and even I find new stuff that I've never seen in the software. And that's not just because I didn't see it, but because you guys are you're constantly pushing the envelope and you're adding new stuff. I mean, that was kind of one of the last things I wanted to mention is the university and the ongoing training. It's all inside the software, on top of the fact that you have a coach assigned to you that you can basically call for anything that you probably think to yourself, like, oh, this is so silly, like I have to email it. But nobody ever treats you that way. They get right back to you and let you know, like, hey, this is what you need to have. And you're going to have questions, and you're not going to be able to just overlay any software solution instantly overnight and it just solves all your problems. It's going to take work. But the point is, you're going to put that same kind of work into building some elaborate Excel spreadsheet, or God forbid you try to develop your own software, which, I mean, hey, if that's what you're trying to do, that's going to be its own road for you. But there are solutions. Buildertrend is a great solution. It's the cost is more than fair for what you're getting. And then that's the other thing too, with all the learning that you have available, you also have different layers of the software itself. Like maybe you don't need the full on package. You guys have kind of like an entry level now, which is
Yep.
more, it's more appropriate for somebody that doesn't need to track every single thing. It's kind of like, get yourself started, get yourself acquainted, and then when you feel like you're ready to take the next step, go ahead and do that.
You hit it on.
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
that's exactly the process is stair step yourself in, have a lighter price point to, as you're getting things going. And then, it's largely our financial suite that's in that next package, which is really something that you can grow into. But an important thing to hit on for any company looking at Buildertrend is the schedule is really the key and the backbone to the program. And it really unlocks everything else that you'd want to do with it. And that's a super simple thing to get started with. Like you said, you can be how detailed or as simple as you
yeah,
want. You can get that information from multiple sources. The input of it's incredibly easy. And whether you're just tracking it for yourself or you're actually sharing that with outside sources, that information just can grow over time. And then everything else in the platform links off of that schedule. That's kind of the baseline for the job. Everything else, you're getting into kind of the estimating. There's the purchase order side of things, if that comes into play for a contractor developer, that are all based off of those timelines that you set one time. And then, your critical path, you move items, they adjust themselves based on the logic that you build in. So it's not
right,
moving one schedule item and then moving the 50 other things that are supposed to happen behind it. Those are already
right.
linked, and that's technology for you. That's kind of one of the main things of getting up and running and first starting with that is that's an eye opener for a lot of companies.
It is true. And if you look at it from a simple point of view, like what can I do with the software? If you're asking yourself, okay, so what can I do with this software? Okay, so you can you can open you can open like a lead where can track a project when it's in its infancy and track your notes and everything like that. You can build a prelim proposal if you wanted to for yourself to kind of track where it's going to go. You can then turn that into a active project once it's ready to go. And then you can procure bids from vendors and subs and load those directly into the new estimate. And using the new expected, you can compare the two versus your original estimate versus what you're expecting now. You can fully integrate a schedule and track it as much as you'd like to or as little as you'd like to, assigning tasks along the way. You can track your change orders as you go. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can load in your selections. So like you say, you're a developer who has a bunch of set stuff you use on every build. You can keep all that stuff into a database and use those things as you go. And then, like you said, if you want to kind of step it up a notch, go into fully integrate your accounting side of things, it literally does every single thing, and your team can go to one place. And if you're a little bit bigger of a company, I think you guys even have a punch card capability where you can like time punch and geofence a job site and know when people are coming and going. I mean,
Pulls
it
right in your
really,
budget also.
yeah, it just keeps kind of, it's like, like a fractal. You just keep zooming in further and there's more and more things. Not to mention, you guys can virtually customize everything. Like almost every setting in the software has a spot for you to add, a user customized search function, or like you mentioned, tags, or I mean, you could do anything you can imagine pretty much. Buildertrend can figure out a way to do it on top of all the integrations that they have.
Yep. Yeah. You should, you should start selling it for us.
Right. All right. Well, hopefully this helps a little bit. Cause like I said, I really think that these kind of programs, what you guys are doing is something that is hugely helpful. And this is a time when, if you're doing what we're doing, if you're trying to acquire properties and build new construction, or you're trying to, especially renovating like large multifamily properties, which is another thing that we focus on, you have to be able to keep yourself organized. The days of using a clipboard and pen and paper, it's only going to get you so far. If you're just starting off, you can, if maybe you're a guy in roofing, you can get on a roof and draw it yourself and write a bid and call a supplier and put it together. But you could also use a service like EagleView and order it right there, and you have your roof measured for you, and then take that information into a program like Buildertrend and plot out your schedules and have multiple clients and provide bids to multiple people. It really depends on you and what your goals are. And I feel like those of you that are watching our channel and kind of learning from us and learning from what we're doing, this is the kind of stuff we wanted to be able to share with you guys. And like I said, keeping organized for me is the number one thing. And if that tells you anything, what Eric just said about the schedule being the backbone, that's it. Your schedule is the thing. If you can keep your schedule on track and organized, then everything else falls into place. If your schedule is organized and you can track it and you know what's going on your job sites, especially for the whole duration of the project, then you're going to limit change orders. You're going to limit, just miscommunications between you and your vendors and your subs. It all kind of starts with that. So yeah, any closing thoughts you have for anybody that is maybe on the fence or they're looking for this kind of software? Like, what could you say to maybe try to help them go all in and give it a try?
The first thing, I think you hinted at this right when we kicked off, is there's so many different things that you can do to impact your business. And it's important to come in and have that prioritized, to know kind of what you're looking to impact, and not try to take off more than you can chew at the time. But also realize that technology for a lot of contractors just in general is not the strong suit. It's not what y'all signed up for. But that's where our team comes into play. And I think that's where Buildertrend separates itself, is having the people on the other side of the line or offering the resources. But you've got to be willing to delegate also, but also listen. That's a huge piece of it too, is don't just take what you're doing today and say, I have to do it this way here. Be willing to see and connect the dots. This is a big thing with our customer success team in itself, is don't look at Buildertrend and the features as what they are. Think about the process that they facilitate, and what can happen with it. And think about how that fits things that you need to improve your business with. Because really, if you think about things that way, Buildertrend can darn near meet any need that you'd have. It's
Right.
just opening your eyes that, okay, well, I can do this with this piece of functionality. I get sign-offs here. I can document these things with custom fields, whatever it may be. There's so many options that it's important to not get stuck at the surface level of what you're seeing on the page, to dig into the functionality.
Right. That's very true. That's very true. And I think it is something where you kind of have to experience it. Now, I don't know for sure. Do you guys have like a way for people to try out the software? like prior to them going all in? Is there a way, or video
So
to do like Zoom
risk-free
calls
trial.
and stuff?
So
Okay.
when we sign up new customers, 90 days are risk-free. So at any point in that time
Nice.
frame, you can have your money back, anything that you've paid up to that point in time. It doesn't mean that we even hold back training or anything. You can meet with our team from day one. You can start training. We'll put resources towards you because we're betting on the software. We think that if we can help you out and get you going and really understand what you're doing. That's one thing that's interesting about the customer success side is it's not about just showing people how to push buttons. It's really understanding what each company does, what their end goals are, needs in software, and we help them get there. Our job is to help them set a path and help them figure out the right time to get their team on board. And just to another point, I guess, to leave everybody with is, as you look on to take software, a huge part of it is explaining the why to your team. Make sure they understand how it's going to benefit the big picture. Because you may be making their life different. Your change is always difficult, but the why and the big picture and being able to explain that is huge for getting buy-in across the company. If they can see how it doesn't just benefit them now the office manager, now the investors, other people are able to see this information that's being documented. That's powerful.
That's so true because it's a good point because change is difficult, and especially if you're a company that you are stuck in your ways, you've been established. Maybe you've been a developer for 10 years. Now you're trying to figure out how you can maybe clean up some issues that you've had. If you've got people on your team that are used to doing things a certain way, there's definitely going to be difficulties. But I think that by having such easily accessible learning available for the software, and you guys don't make it like, you don't make it a difficult process to obtain the knowledge. So it's very easy, and it's set up in a way where you kind of go through it almost like a game, and you're able to accomplish your goals and get your certifications and stuff. Whereas you could have done that a lot worse. And I think the fact that you guys offer 90 days, so 3 months to use the software. I mean, I'm not going to call anybody else out on this video, but I'll tell you right now, there are other softwares that give you 0 days to try it out. They want you to do a call like this or an in-person meeting, and they're going to show you how it works, but that doesn't translate. And those softwares don't offer the same kind of training either. And I know because I've tried pretty much every single thing that is available. So if anybody wants to comment or reach out to us, I've tried them all. And that's why I have Buildertrend here, because it's who we ended up with for a lot of different reasons. But hopefully this video shows those reasons very clearly why we chose Buildertrend. So yeah, try it out. Utilize the training that's available to you to help overcome objections from your team and get everybody a part of it and show them the value that, look, you're going to elevate everybody's knowledge, and you're going to speed up all your processes. There's just so much value to be gained. So yeah, anything else that you want to mention for everybody, Eric?
No, I really appreciate you taking the time and having me on the show today.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it. And everybody check out Buildertrend. We'll have links for everything down below.